Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nexus games. We are on the final day of play, day number 6. We have had some spectacular games. We have had ups for our national teams. We have had downs as we have had to say goodbye to a couple of the teams who will not be making it through to the playoffs. But today, we will decide our final 4 teams in the playoffs. I'm your host for today, Tetcher, and I am once again joined by professional caster and streamer Kedrick Swish and ex-pro player now gracing you with his analytical skills, it's Bakery. How are you guys feeling about today?
Feeling very excited. We saw a couple of insane series yesterday already. A couple of teams, as you said, had to say goodbye, but some of the other teams have now found their way into the playoffs, and I think it's safe to say that the Nexus games thus far have been an absolute blast to commentate over.
Yeah, we had some insane games yesterday, as we have said, but today we have 2 amazing series as well, which I am really looking forward to.
So let's have a look at the group stages. We can see in Group A and B which 2 teams have gone forward. In Group A, France, with a dominant 3-0, were able to move through, and Italy, holding off Team UK yesterday, were also able to meet barely, despite some shenaniganry drafts, which were very fun, but Italy were able to hold their place. And Germany, the surprise of this tournament. Everyone was really sleeping on them, but this time they came through and come out of their group in first place. And Hungary will be joining them. Now, we move on to today's games. We have Group C and Group D, starting off with Poland versus Spain, a Group C match. This one could be a huge deal in terms of who goes through in the group, depending on the score. We will then be moving on to Netherlands versus the Czech Republic, Sweden versus Russia, which will decide who goes through in first seed in Group D and who goes through in second seed. And then to finish off the day, we will have Ukraine versus Portugal.
Yeah, that match, of course, won't really change too much in the standings anymore, but still, there's a lot of fans out there who support Portugal and Ukraine respectively, and both of those teams, of course, want to show, and that they still have what it takes to win a series.
Yep, exactly. But our first game for the day, we're talking about games that will potentially have a pretty serious impact. We are starting off with Poland versus Spain. Now, these were a lot of people's favorites to win the entire tournament, but now we're in a situation where Spain are battling to even make it out the group.
Would you have thought that Spain was one of the candidates who may even not make it out of Group Bakery before the tournament started?
I knew there was a chance. We knew that the Netherlands were a real dark horse of a team, and we knew that Poland would be so strong, but I was almost certain that Spain would be making it out and making a huge playoffs run. Yeah. But now they're in a situation where the most likely outcome is that they need a 2-0 win against Poland in this series to make it out of groups.
And Poland is without a doubt the team that has looked the strongest out of all the big names, out of all the nations participating at the Nexus games. This team is the most stacked one and so far the most consistent one.
We completely agree. So Spain, to maximize their chances, need this 2-0. Let's have a look at the battleground vetoes to see where we are going to take our first match. Spain removing the Warhead Junction. Now, this is a map that can favor some of their Vikings play, but it looks like they might want to play either something a little more standard or want to go to maybe one of the other much more chaotic maps.
Yeah, the Vikings, of course, can be a huge factor here. Vortex plays them a lot. He's our specialist, if you will. He plays heroes like Zagara as well. He could even bust out a Probius if need be. And speaking of Probius, that is going to be a highly contested hero in this series, won't he?
Yeah, Probius is a great hero for Mana. I think Mana is probably the best Probius in the world. So it's going to be really interesting to see if he finally gets to pull it out in this series.
So we have potential Probius plays, potential Lost Viking plays. What maps favor those 2 heroes?
Well, Warhead Junction is one of them, and Black Hearts Bay is another, both of which being removed, indicating both of these teams maybe want a more standard style for this Titan matchup.
Spain,
I think so too.
Yeah, Spain did get to choose the map, and as such, they have gone for one of those Vikings-friendly maps. They are playing on Towers of Doom for the first map of the day.
Yeah, I think that is a good mix between standard on the one hand, but still open for those awkward, cheesy strategies that the Spanish team may actually buzz out.
Yeah, exactly. The cheesy strategies, as we have seen in the past, we've seen the Vikings in open division from Vortex. We have seen some insane Samuro plays, which would be very interesting to see. We saw the French team in Nexus games, and we have seen, like I said, Vortex run it in the open division as well. So they've showed it. The Abathur, also very fond by Team Spain here, and very solid on this map, right, Bakery?
Yeah, absolutely. The Lost Vikings have not been successful on Towers of Doom for a long time now, actually.
Yeah.
Even France, their only game lost, I believe, was with the Lost Vikings.
Yeah,
so
they're still popular here.
they are still kind of popular. I would much rather see Spain go for Abathur. I think Vortex, a fantastic Abathur player, and Abathur's a much more solid hero on this map.
And keep in mind that Vortex can really use that Abathur to have great synergy, not just with, you know, the assassin players, but most importantly, his brother Lucifron. Lucifron plays a great Muradin and even better ETC, and those heroes, if supported by Abathur, can even become a bigger threat.
So Team Spain now with the ban. They're in a situation where Poland could steal the Abathur here, and that could be a good denial play. But as a reminder, guys, as we wait for Team Spain's ban, be sure to vote for which team you think is going to win this series in the chat. You can do so by typing in hashtag PLWin to vote for Team Poland and hashtag ESWin for Team Spain.
All right, we are about to see the second ban coming in here in this game. And, you know, with the Vikings being out of the fray here, it wouldn't surprise me if the Spanish team also went for one of those trademark bans to really cripple the Polish approach. Maybe it's going to be a Probius, maybe a Chromie, because I think Mana could be a hero, could be a player to be tackled here first. But no, it's going to be the Abathur.
I think it was too risky to leave up when the Lost Vikings were already gone. It hurts for Spain, but I think it is going to be the correct choice.
Yeah, they still have potential options for Vortex. We've seen him play other heroes outside of those GC specialists. And of course, we already mentioned the Samuro. He really is committed to that split push mobile style.
See, we're talking about Mana versus Vortex, and I think that is one of the big storylines from this matchup. Both of them play fantastic Chromies, and Chromie has been a hero that has been rising up that priority list. So will we see potentially even a first pick Chromie from Poland? It's a possibility.
A single hero rotation for Poland, it would be a risk. Instead, they go for Genji.
And that is a pick that is suited towards Gugus, another deadly ranged / flex assassin player. And if you want to compare him to Mugilol, I think Gugus so far has looked a lot more reliable. All the games he played, he was an absolute menace. Whereas Mugilol, he was a little bit spiky. He had his good moments on the Gul'dan, but he also had his wonky moments when on the false that he just didn't really look that good.
Very true. Like you said, we've seen the potential inconsistencies there. But now we see Team Spain's first picks. Now, we've already mentioned an insane ETC from Lucifron here, so there's a very good chance, seeing as how popular ETC is in terms of his pick rotation, there's a good chance we'll see him, maybe even the Rhaegar to go with it, or the Greymane, as we've seen be so popular.
I would expect to see the ETC. I would also expect Rhaegar or Greymane, but they do not opt for that. Yeah, so Tassadar is going to open up Tassadar Tracer. That might have to be a ban from the Polish side, but also Dehaka picked. He hasn't been picked very much in Nexus games, but
when he has, he's been very successful.
Exactly.
I think it's very important to keep in mind that if Tracer were to be picked for Spain, they would probably have her as the only assassin, because it's very likely for them to pick another support and very, very likely to pick another main tank next to the Dehaka. So what do you think about those solo assassin Tracer compositions in general?
I think they can definitely work, but you need to have a very clear understanding of how you play the map. So, for example, the way that you'd have to run it here is Dehaka has to be your initiator. You have to have your main tank always ready to follow up, and Dehaka either following him or making the opening himself. Tracer then has a lot of space to do the damage that she does need to do when she is solo ranged.
We see Poland here denying away the ETC from Lucifron. We still know he has very solid Muradin and other tanks, but favorite hero taken away.
Yeah, that could be a big deal. I mean, ETC in general is probably one of the most dominating picks here at the Nexus games thus far, especially when the Mosh Pit was picked in. Stage Dive having mixed success rates up to this point, but ETC in general, such a solid pick. And as we said, picking that guy away from Lucifron is always a wise idea.
and Chromie banned away from Mana. And this is what we were speaking about earlier, is Mana is a fantastic player when he gets Li Ming, when he gets Chromie, when he gets Probius. But outside of those comfort mages, is he as good? Is he competitive with Gugus even?
Remember his Li Ming game though. He was single-handedly dismantling his foes the other day when they played against, I think, Netherlands it was. It was a really, really solid game, and the combo resets were solid. For a long period of time, we thought of Mana being like, you know, the very safe and inactive ranged poker. But with Li Ming, he really showed us that he can be the combo mechanics reset master. So I want to see what he brings to the table here in this draft.
So Valor was banned out here. Could have been a great combo with the Tastar, but it's showing comfort from Team Poland to play against that Tracer, as Lucio is picked up as the support by the main support in this case by Spain.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, Murden now joining the fray as well. This is basically what we covered for before. Murden is a strong hero that can follow up on a Dehaka initiation. The CC chains can be real. The Lucio provides additional mobility and protection to potentially a Vala or a Tracer.
So Spain are committing to the anti-Genji comp here, and they're focusing less on that ETC. Lucio's sound barrier is a fantastic counter to Dragon Blade, and they're going to stop the potentially double resets that Poland might have with that. However, they are giving up cleanse for that.
They're giving up cleanse, and they are looking to flex their damage. So depending on what Poland pick, if they do pick very hard crowd control, we might have to see a more safe assassin coming in for Team Spain.
I think Lucio's also a really good pick against ETC if the reflexes and the timing is right, because his Q, the boop, can actually knock ETC back every single time he goes in for a potential mosh pit. Same, of course, goes for the Genji. One good reaction, and boom, you take away all that initiation momentum from the enemy team.
Double resets, more crowd control, and more initiation potential. Everything they already had Poland build on with the Li Ming and the Sonya.
And the community is very, very one-sided in their votings up to this point.
It's better than it was. We started off actually at 70%, and Spain have been winning it back and ticking up a lot throughout this draft so far.
All right.
Now, you look at Poland, and I have to say, I think they got exactly what they came looking for. Spain, it looks a bit haphazard so far, I would say.
And who do they pick now to conclude this draft? I mean, the Tracer, sure, is probably not going to be that big of a surprise now. And there is a lot of stuff to deal with the Tracer. I mean, there's a lot of burst damage, a lot of CC available as well. Is it going to be the more classic standard Vala approach?
Well, Valor is banned. They could they could still Grey main.
And a Zul'jin, maybe.
Zul'jin, we've not seen him so far, but we would very much like to if that is the risk they want to take. And Spain... bring out the Tracer. They commit.
0 seconds, hovering right on the edge of that potential random, but Tracer was, of course, hovered.
Maybe it was the random, but once again, we've discussed...
The luckiest random ever.
It has a skin, it works really well with the comp, almost certainly not.
So, how much of a deal do you think is it not to have any blinds in the draft against the Tracer?
I don't think it's that impactful. I think Tracer is a hero where a lot of the damage is going to come from parting gifts, that pulse bomb, and also melee. So I don't think it's that impactful to have blinds, but they are definitely hopeful at controlling her, especially when she is a solo ranged.
They do, however, have potential protection against it. Of course, Genji with deflect is very effective against Tracer. We have the block party potentially from BTC. Not as effective, as also with Sonya's block, not as effective against the high attack speed, but every little bit of defense helps.
All right, so I'm curious to see who is going to take this, to be honest. This is probably one of my daily highlights, or one of my favorite personal highlights. And the Spanish team, they really need to deliver now. They need to win this as clearly as humanly possible if they don't want to rely on anyone else in their group, especially the Netherlands.
Yeah.
When this tournament started, this was my favorite series. I was looking forward to this so much. Since then, Poland have performed above expectations, but Spain have performed below. My vote's on Poland.
You're voting for Poland. Who are you going for, Kendrick?
I'm going for Poland here. The Spanish team needs to prove themselves first.
Going for both the casters here. Going for Poland. I am also leaning towards Poland, and we're going to be heading into game number 1 as Spain looks to subvert our expectations and put themselves in a good position to try and earn that 2-0. For now, though, Kendrick, who is on the left?
On the left-hand side, it is the Polish team looking ever so strong up to this point in the Nexus games. We've got Ajuf on that Rhaegar, Mana plays Li Ming, we have Zadoon on the ETC, Gugus plays the Genji, and Wolfsy is playing the Sonya.
Whereas on the right-hand side, it is going to be Team Spain with Darkham playing on that Lucio, Lucifron on the Muradin, Vortex playing Tassadar, we have Mugilol on Tracer, and the Dahaka is being played by Bijou.
Yeah, and what can the Spanish players bring to the table here? We talk a lot about Lucifron, we talk a lot about Vortex, the Duran brothers that have had so much success in the past, but they had to suffer from a couple of setbacks in the most recent Heroes of the Storm history. Bushido Esports, their new project, it didn't work out. They couldn't qualify for the HCC, and now already in the Nexus games, things are not turning out as you thought they would.
Yeah, they are up against the wall here, playing for their survival in this tournament. Rajuf is running for his survival, but the Pulse Bomb, First Blood, goes over to Spain.
Yeah, and that is a really nice kill there for the Spanish team. Destroying Rhaegar, kicking out the support is really useful. It slows down the rotations. Rhaegar is so good in the early game to provide exactly that. Less healing means the laners have to play more defensively as well, and that allows Spain to really, set the tone in this early game.
Right now, like I said, Spain setting the pace in this early game. They are so far looking relatively reasonable with that first kill. Looking for more. Dune is able to power slide through Tracer, and that denies the majority of the damage. Also, can I just... It is quite a shame that we can't persuade Lucifron to swap roles so that we can actually see Luciofron.
Luciofron, that would be a good one, my friend. For now, though, players are having a little bit of a pause. You know what? I always say when it happens at the beginning of the game, I'm like, that's fine. It would be way worse if it was 20 minutes into the game.
Exactly. Better now than later. So we will hopefully get the players sorted with whatever issue they are having, and we will get you back into the game as soon as possible. For now, though, beautiful kill. Rhaegar caught out. I believe he was attempting to try and start a mercenary, but very nice raid from Team Spain.
Absolutely. And, us gamers, especially the better they get, gamers become more picky. So it could be a mouse issue, could be something with a connection. We don't know just yet, so we're going to wait and figure out what's going to happen. In the meantime, though, I think maybe we can show the votes again. I really want to see what at the end. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we have the game ready, so we're going to jump back into that, which is better than the votes because there's more action happening as we jump back in. I do just want to really quickly jump back to that raid. It is very familiar to the style that we used to see from both El Nexo and Team Liquid, the teams that Lucifron and Vortex played on and had so much success with. They were very invade heavy in both of those teams.
Yeah, so aggression seems to be the go-to recipe for the Spanish team up to this point. Li Ming, of course, so good when it comes to poking altars and channeled objectives in general from a safe distance. In the meantime, though, Mugilol is furious on that Tracer, trying to really harass the backline. Gugus also doing a really good job on the Genji, throwing a couple of shurikens. And right now, Team Spain realized we cannot channel this without getting punished too much.
It was a very nice deny by Genji there. He took some damage. Lucifron was doing a solid job frontlining, but has taken too much damage. Bijou tumbling down here might be enough, giving them the 5v4 advantage. And as such, they will complete the channel. Sonya will be able to get great XP in both mid and top lane during this, though.
And that is oftentimes a trait we see from a couple of teams in the early game. At some point, one team decides to let go of the altar, to go for a double soak rotation, and Sonya, Wolfsy was exactly doing that, soaking middle, pushing it in a little bit, draining ammo from the enemy towers, and then rotating top, doing the exact same thing, rinse and repeat.
Exactly. Now, we are going to be seeing here Li Ming, no Cannoneer style builds here, instead going for the dominance and the power hungry.
Yeah, this is definitely more of a standard route. Mana has been a big fan of that build traditionally. We saw him demolish the Netherlands with one combo after the other. And, if something ain't broke, then you don't need to fix it. So I really like the choice, especially when you consider that there's a couple of really, really squishy targets on the roster for Team Spain. The Tracer, the Tassadar, Lucio. One wrong misstep from them, and Li Ming is going to punish it with that build.
So, Lucio, by the way, going for sub-woofer here. The extra knockback, depending on how close he is. damage. Now, this is very solid against heroes like Genji, but potentially risky against heroes like ETC. You would oftentimes see a lot of Lucio players going for chase the base to get that extra range if he can complete the stacks, making it easier for him to interrupt the mosh pit. Instead, though, he's going for disengage to try and prevent it, potentially even before the mosh pit goes down.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, there are a couple of benefits provided by Subwoofer. You can knock people further back, which, you know, takes a lot of momentum, takes a lot of additional distance for the respective target to close in again, and especially Genji's Sonya could really suffer from that. Just imagine a Sonya who was spinning and then no longer will she have any nearby enemy targets to spin from.
Yep, it is always nice to see lots of damage onto Gugus, but he's able to tank through quite nicely. So Dude zoning out the enemy heroes here. Dahaka, not yet here for his team, so currently a 5v4 in favor of Poland as they begin channeling that bottom altar. Task, moving in. Lucifer wants it as well. Nice, perfect storm by Vortex. Last second as Bijou tries to move in from beside, but takes a huge amount of damage, but he is going to be able to get out as Wolves gets stunned up. Boogaloo dropping the damage, and we got it with the parting gift.
Yeah, the parting gift, the bombs were enough to take down Wolfsy, but on the flip side, Lucifer takes down so much damage, they got to be channeled through though. Now it's time for them to evacuate.
Starkum with the knockback, pushing Zadood away from Lucifer. As Lucifer, like you said, he gets a huge amount of damage. As Starkum chasing onto Zadood, but the damage output is not enough.
They get the resets now.
They get it, they get one, they get two. Lucifer is very close. They're actually looking fantastic. He will at least delay with that dimensional shift, making it behind the wall. Bijou's here. If Gugus commits, he might get it, but decides against it instead. They get Muradin.
You know what? Trading a triple kill there for only one altar in the early stage of the game was totally worth it for Team Poland. They inflicted so much damage, and look at the predetermined precision coming in from Mana. Every Arcane Orb landed like it was supposed to land, and this is exactly what we saw him do against the Netherlands. It was almost like he could smell where his next target was moving to. What a beauty to behold.
What a beauty to behold indeed. Very, very solid play coming in from Poland. Even though Spain have managed to now take a pretty significant core lead, Poland, on the other hand, have a full level lead.
Yeah, definitely true. That, of course, means also, as well that level 10 abilities will be here much, much more quickly for the Polish team. And with that, they can then pressure other objectives. They could consider an early boss. They could go for more lane pushing with the Zappers, or just dominate the next spawning altars.
Orb comes in, does not land onto Lucifer as Zappers begin to duel in the middle, in the bot lane here. In the center, the storm from Tasnado giving his team a significant advantage to do it. Using the Echo Pedal.
Moshpit coming in from the get-go.
Cleanse was just a split second too late, and so Moshpit was interrupted, but the Dragon Blade is still enough to kill Lucio.
And the answer was good. Zadoon is now going to be in a picture-perfect spot to continue fighting. Nicely done there as well. We also saw the wave of force coming in here from Mana. He's going for maximum burst potential. The Disintegrate deals a little bit slower damage, but okay,
Wolf Toss was interrupted. Wolf Toss was interrupted. Very nicely done there by Team Poland. Spain, without their level 10s, no avatar available for Muradin. We will see Poland able to pick up both of these altars.
And keep in mind that the Wave of Force also can be used to do exactly that. You can interrupt animations with it. If Muradin goes for a Dwarf Toss, if Dahaka goes for Shadow Brushstalker, excuse me, you can always interrupt those animations with one of the lowest cooldown heroic abilities in the game.
Boogaloo does not hold his attacks there, is instead still just committing
Perfect defense.
And he gets so much damage done to him. Boogaloo barely escaping with the kill onto that Genji. But that is the issue. You can see the deflex able to just do some crazy damage if Boogaloo does not hold his attacks.
Yeah, and the crucial thing here, hold that thought. Vortex going in with the Archon. Are they going to get mana? No, I think he's safe for now. The gate intercepts the next Stormbolt. Okay, good save here for the Polish team. But the crucial talent here to really keep Gugus alive was the level 7. Perfect defense. The more damage you take and deflect, the quicker your cooldown is going to be replenished. And with Tracer's fast attacking animations, you can absorb and lower the cooldown quite a lot.
Yeah, he died by the skin of his teeth there. It was literally him or Tracer. If Tracer had recalled a second later, she would be dead as well. If Genji had had his cooldown a little bit sooner, he would have survived. We see Dahaka, by the way, going for the adaptation. First time we've seen it in this tournament.
Yeah, it has become a rather rare sight, hasn't it? And for a long period of time, the adaptation has been the go-to choice. Arjiv is now getting stunned, but no immediate follow-up damage here coming in. But you can really see how the Spanish team wants to get kills, and Ambush is going at any cost.
regrets are about. The Dragon Blade turns it round. Lucifer goes down. Vortex abandons ship and runs all the way back to base.
All right, the Spanish team needs to visit a hospital right now because that was a lot of pain being inflicted onto them. And how patiently Zadoon played that on the ETC was admirable. He took so much damage. He even isolated himself from the remaining team members just to wake the impression of, hey guys, I'm probably not going to make it. Gotcha. Mosh pit is here.
What Poland just did there potentially just went against the Geneva Convention. That was both cruel and unusual with how they were able to take it down. The ETC, perfect bait, everyone grouping up, and the mosh pit allowing them to turn it round as we see a big push coming in from Team Poland, trying to grab this bot bell tower in time for the extra shots, and they will do so, leaving channels in. That's going to be 6 shots actually, with the top captured as well.
That's a lot of shots, and guess what? The Zappers are already approaching. Once they cross that red line, they're going to deal additional damage onto the core. And things are going from bad to worse here for the Spanish team. They're not even 13 anymore. How much can they do to really defend that?
Muradin trying to hold the line against the Pumpkins. Good boot from Lucio. The Pumpkins finally starting to drop low in health. They're so close. They all goes through. Very close though.
Yeah, that is acceptable. I mean, they could only commit to so many resources to that defense, right? 13 not being here, most of their heroic abilities were still kind of on cooldown-ish, so they didn't really take any unnecessary risks. Gugu, speaking of risky plays, though, he is trying to go for a bait here, I believe.
Yeah, he did not actually deflect during that entire situation. He just tanked through it and took a Storm Bolt for his trouble, but Zadoon in position. Only 10 seconds left until Mosh Pit.
And you can really see how Wolfsy on the Sonya is trying to soak 2 lanes at the same time. In the meantime, the remaining Polish team members are trying to hold the bottom, keep the Spanish team occupied for as much as possible. Mercenary camps are going to respawn relatively soon, and you basically deny the Spanish team to get any more value elsewhere on the map. Sonya is actually out-protecting the Dahaka right now. Speaking of Dahaka, he comes in.
Dahaka's arrived, drag onto Genji, who gets Ancestral and will survive. Lucifer trying to wade through. They are fighting under a bell tower here, and as such, Vortex gets taken out as Gugas is looking for another one. Even the sound barrier, it's not enough here. Sonya has arrived as well. Bijou getting focused. There's the mosh pit. Very nearly to Stark and run into it, but that's still 3 kills to 0.
The mosh pit was sold out already. Unfortunately, nobody left inside. And Mana is just casually killing a Tracer here with Gugus. Those two have perfect synchrony. It is a pleasure to watch them get the resets whenever they need to. Now, Lucifer completed its hammer time trait provided by the Q. Is that going to be enough, though? It's a 3-level lead for the Polish team here almost. 2 altars once again, and keep in mind the bottom lane is going to get pressured by mercenaries now. It is still under control for the Polish team, so 5 shots per altar.
There's double Mercs moving in right now. Rhaegar not even joining his team. He's actually just committing to the bot lane. You immediately see the reaction from Spain, but they might be a little too slow. Rhaegar, Tracer just in time to at least hold, and that gives time for the rest of the team to arrive.
Yeah, Lucio helping out now with the knockback. That was very close, a last-second save, if you will. But that is, of course, the bigger weakness. Never hold that thought. Zadoon is in trouble.
Lot of damage. First of the Weapons, first of the Sappers has been killed off. Second one beginning to go down. Solid defense there by Spain.
And if we take a look at the Polish team and how they're playing it, for the most part, it is actually a 4 versus 4, 4 versus 5 the entire time. Wolfsy is almost not participating in the entire game. All he does is rotate between top, mid, top, and tries to get as much pushing in as possible. And even Dahaka can't keep up with the speed of his.
Yeah, and yet Spain are still losing these fights thanks to the great play from the ETC here from Poland.
Yeah, I really think Zadoon is playing out of his mind on the ETC. We were actually expecting Lucifer to maybe put on a show on the ETC, but denying it from Lucifer and putting it on Zadoon seems to have been the golden choice during the team draft for the Polish team.
It has been going really, really well for them as they continue to just control the bot lane. Yeah. Very standard strat here, just control bot lane, grab Mercs on cooldown, and continue to keep pressure onto Spain, leaving one hero to do something elsewhere on the map. Finally, Dahaka is going to react to this top lane and attempt to do something as we see an invade coming in. Moshpit gets several. Muradin not able to land the Storm Bolt as we already see Tracer getting taken out. The sound barrier is good, but it's not enough to save Bijou.
Yeah, and Tharkum unfortunately was trapped in that mosh pit as well. Otherwise, he could have maybe saved the Tracer or even interrupted it. But as it is, Lucio is the one target that should never get caught by either the stun or the following mosh pit here. And a big problem for the Spanish team. You can really see that in this moment here in the bottom lane. They don't have poke. They need to hard engage. But how are you going to hard engage when you're 3 levels behind? They don't have heroes like Rayman, Gul'dan, or Lunara who could just constantly poke and eventually get structures back.
Taz is about to deny lethal because there were actually 6 shots available and only 12 shots available and only 12 health on the core. Luckily, we do also see
get the bottom.
Yeah, he didn't get the bottom, so it's going to be down to 6 health, but they did get the right-hand ulti. So Spade keeping themselves alive in this game.
They still are heavily behind though, because there is just so much going on for the for the Polish team here. They control so much of the area. If you take a look at it, middle still in Polish hands, top lane still in Polish hands. So it is extremely hard for the Spanish team to really gain any foothold again.
The back foot is where they were earlier in the game. Right now, they are literally on their toes, hanging off the edge of the cliffside, as they are desperately trying to regain their balance and lean forward.
You can really see how aggressively the Polish team goes in. Immediately, beautiful Wolf, Z, and Mana combinations here on the Taster. He doesn't have a dimensional shift. They might even go ham on him.
He's eaten several magic missiles here. He's
gonna die.
Focused, dodges the spear. There's the nullification. He's trying to make the play here. Vortex shields himself. He'll have Archon in 6 seconds.
Nice
Sound barrier is good. The pulse bomb on Zadoon and Wolf's here. Essential will keep Wolves alive, and Vortex goes down just before he's able to use the Archon.
And Gugus continues to do his bloody work on the Genji. He's an absolute nightmare. Nobody seems to be able to contain him. He even goes into the death zone, goes back all over the map. Beautiful tippity top blink blink combo.
Mugilo was able to kill off Genji in the end, though. He is still alive. It's a 3-for-1 right now in favor of Poland. No shots are available.
Here we go.
Mosh pit, and that's it. They're going to be able to clear out the last 2 members. The camp, the shrine, the altars have just spawned, and there is going to be nothing that Spain can do. And in fact, it's going to be very nearly a triple camp if mid had not just died to minions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, but of course there's going to be 2 altars. The Polish team only needs 1, and still 4 members currently on cooldown for Team Spain. They could maybe try to use the tunnel, but guess what? Mana's already setting up his guard duty, trying to prevent anyone from rushing through.
Taz will deny, but he can only deny mid as bot is channeled in by Sonya, and that is going to be GG as we see Poland taking game number 1.
And everything, absolutely everything seems to have worked here for the Polish team. No matter if you take a look at the mosh pits, the Genji going crazy all around, Mana landing almost every single ability over and over again. I mean, how are you going to beat a team that shows no weaknesses?
How good is Poland?
Quite good.
Is Poland legitimately one of the best teams in Europe? Because it's looking like it, guys. They are absolutely insane.
Sign them up for Open Division, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the same with Team Portugal, but I would really like to see a Team Poland, and we've actually had full Polish teams do well. One of them made it all the way to the Crucible in the last phase. They got really close, and once again, we see yet another full Polish roster doing well in a tournament.
So, my replays for you. I've got 2. The first one is the game's even at this point. So you can see Spain, they just got a kill on Sonya. They just capped the altar, but they're greedy. They want another kill. And guys, watch Mana. Look how accurate he is in the queue. So there's the first one, landing all 3 on Dehaka. Here's the second one, landing all 3 on Lucio. Instant blink in to punish. He does actually miss the W, but he gets it on the end. Resets, baby. It's double reset. 2 people instantly down. And this is where Spain completely lose control of the game.
And this is exactly how you use the resets. You always cast your most threatening ability first. It is always the Arcane Orb when Mana uses it. He doesn't waste time with more magic missiles, maybe a Way of Force. No, he goes for the most threatening, lethal abilities first. Beautiful to see.
The most impressive thing there was how accurate he was with the magic missiles, instantly nailing all 3 of them on 2 targets consecutively. Did so much damage and just forced Spain back without them even realizing how much damage they were taking.
A couple times he was at the where we saw Tassadar getting poked down right before he had Archon. Even though Li Ming was just firing orbs into the big team fight, she still had time to predict where Vortex was going to be and just hit him with a couple more missiles.
However, if you thought that was impressive, then you are going to be absolutely mind blown by Zadoon on this ETC. As we roll it forward, we see here it's a 4v5. Dehaka bows it. Now Zadoon looks cool, so he runs down, but wait, look at this mosh pit. Gets all 4 members. Double resets are insane. 2 people go down in the same tick of the game server even. And of course, Lucifron follows very shortly after. Meanwhile, top, Sonya is actually just on the fort that entire time. They get both forts, top and bot, I believe, from that play. And that's the end of the game.
Yeah, before this tournament started, I was talking to a couple of Grandmaster players, Yellow Flash, formerly of Team 4K MMR, for example, and he told me that Wolfsy was one of the safest solo laners you could possibly think of. Now we know why, because the rest of his team does just so well.
Absolutely, he was really, really strong in this. And now Spain, their options are beginning to close. They're now starting to rely on other teams, but in order to keep with any chance at all, they still need to win this series.